Okay, you guys get the point. What's up, guys? My name is Drew, and welcome to another episode of Drew Reviews. And once again, we are going to talk about the Rise of Skywalker, Star Wars Episode 9. Now, say what you want, if you like the sequels, if you don't like the sequels, but you have to admit, because it's the truth, and if you don't think that's the truth, then search it up, because they literally admitted it. There was no plan for this trilogy. So that right there is the first thing. So like, even if you say that this trilogy is a masterpiece or whatever, I just want you to understand that there's no plan. There's been no plan. Whatever happens in episode 9 is kind of like made up. You know what I mean? Like, JJ had to write that script from scratch. Sure, he used some of the story outlines, like going back to the Death Star was something he was going to do in episode 7, but he was never going to direct episode 9, so this story would have been completely different. You know what I mean? Every writer did what they wanted. So it's astonishing. And there's only 3 movies in the trilogy. So you have to, each one has to be good. You know what I mean? There's no room for error. And the first one was a complete copy of A New Hope, but people still liked it. People still liked The Force Awakens. But then you had The Last Jedi, which completely disrespected everything in the name of Star Wars, and that was the last straw for people. People were willing to get over. People were willing to accept the reboot, the soft reboot, because they thought, okay, it set something up, and maybe they could take it in a different direction. Maybe they'll explain why this is like this. But The Last Jedi never did that, and because of that, Disney Star Wars is being called out for its incapability to make Star Wars. And just the other day, it was Bob Iger, and the CEO of Disney, said in an interview that George Lucas does not like Disney Star Wars. And I mean, I know we all know that, but they totally disregarded all his plans for the sequel trilogy to do their own thing. And their own thing was nothing like George didn't give a crap about the money when he made the prequels. That's not why he made the prequels. I mean, sure, he wanted money, but there was a story to tell. He had a story that he wanted to tell. But with Disney, they didn't have a story they wanted to tell. They wanted to get the money. And, they had George's outlines. They bought George's outlines. But then after they bought them, they decided not to use it because they wanted to, they weren't sure that Star Wars fans would accept that kind of movie. They wanted to be sure that Star Wars was back, that they were giving something that the fans want. And therefore, they created a complete copy of A New Hope. So instead of having a sequel trilogy, which is what we were supposed to have, it's the same movie. Now, if George Lucas's 6 Star Wars movies never happened, then this would be a great movie. But the point is that this is a sequel trilogy movie. This is continuing off of a story, and you're telling the same story as A New Hope. It's literally 4 or 5. This is the episodic number. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4. You wanted me to say 7, but it's really not 7. It's basically 4 all over again with new characters. The story worked in A New Hope, so they used that story, but they didn't want to use the old characters, so they made their new characters to push their agenda. So they used the story that would guarantee them money while using different characters. So instead of honoring the original characters, they used the original character's story and plot with these new characters in the same saga, which makes no sense. I could definitely see episode 7 having some mirrors to the original trilogy. That would be a smart thing to do, because it doesn't want to seem too unfamiliar. I could definitely see you connect some stuff, but literally this whole thing is a connection. The whole plot is the same. So that's why it's very frustrating to a lot of Star Wars fans, and that's why a lot of Star Wars fans are not excited for Episode 9. Me, I'm excited, but I'm not so excited. Like, you know what I mean? I'm excited because I like Star Wars and I want to see a Star Wars movie, but like, I'm not invested in the characters. The plot I don't really care about because it's basically bound to end the same way as Return of the Jedi ended, which was you're going to start a new generation of Jedi or Skywalkers, whatever. Even if it's not Jedi and it's just the balanced Force users, I still wouldn't like that because, like, okay, but you're saying it's not the Jedi, it's balanced Force users, but we didn't see that. Like, stop telling us things. Stop telling us that Han went back to smuggling and that Luke gave up on the Jedi. Like, show us like what is happening. So like, even if it's bad, we could like, we have evidence, but you're not showing us anything. You're just telling us all these things. And literally episode 9 is bound to end the same way episode 6 ended. I can't literally see anything else happening. Like, come on, like, there's going to be a new generation of something to be trained. That's not going to happen in this movie. So it's basically going to be like, it's going to end where like Rey is training a new generation, the Skywalkers, which are Force users that maybe use light and dark side and is balanced. Like, but we already got that in a way. Like, it's not that much different. And like, even though I guess the Jedi and like, if you were like Jedi and like Force users who use the light and dark side, those are different things. But like, show us that. Don't just say it. And I'm afraid it's too late. They really should have done that in the 7th movie. They should have showed us the Jedi being... They should have showed us the Jedi after Luke rebuilt the Jedi Order, and then maybe you could have things fall apart. But like, don't just do it off screen. We saw that already. Unless you want to make a... Like, they basically set it up so like, we need prequels to the sequels. Like, come on. You can't have prequels, originals, and then prequel sequels and then sequels. Like, come on, that's too much. So okay, so basically today we're going to be talking about Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, 5 fan theories that could be true and 5 we hope aren't. Now I'm looking at the article Screen Rant. So this came out September 20th, so very recently, and we will talk about these theories. I'll read you guys the 5 fan theories that could be true and the 5 theories that we hope aren't true. And I will tell you guys my opinion on them, if I would want them to be true, if I don't want them to be true, and if they are true, like how they could go about it. If they're not true and they do use it, how will it turn up? So let's get to it. Okay, so at number 10, the theory that we hope is not true. The Millennium Falcon gets destroyed. Now, this is a pretty self-explanatory one. Yeah, if anyone says the Millennium Falcon should be destroyed in Episode 9, then you're not a Star Wars fan. Now, look, I'm all for sacrifices. I'm all for having my expectations subverted. Though not like the Last Jedi way, but you know what I mean. Being surprised. But not the Last Jedi way. Not that kind of surprise. But, you know, only if it's true to the story and if it's in a respectful way. Like, you know, if they told a good story from Episode 7 to 8 to 9, if the Millennium Falcon got destroyed in Episode 9, like, I wouldn't want that to happen. But if there was a good story, then like I'd be so invested in the story. It's like, no, oh my god, I can't believe they did that. But like, because they killed Luke, Han, soon to be Lando, and all these people, all the freaking Admiral Akbar they killed. They're gonna kill what's his name? Num Lando's co-pilot, who's with the Resistance. I forgot his name. But like, because they're killing all these original characters and not like caring about it, like, you can't destroy the Millennium Falcon. Like, if Han, Leia, and Luke like a major part of the sequel trilogy, which they are not. They are secondary characters. If they were a major part of the sequel trilogy, then like sure, like at episode 9, if the Millennium Falcon got destroyed, like you could see Han like crying or something, or like really emotional, and it'll be an emotional moment that it's like you didn't want to happen, but it's emotional. You know, things happen, like people die in the movies and things get destroyed, which you don't want to happen. But if you're connected to the movie, then it's good. But if Disney did that now with episode 9, fans would go off on them because there's no respect of the original trilogy, and this would just continue to disrespect it. You know, there's a way of doing things without disrespecting the originals before it. Like with the Millennium Falcon, you know, if all our old characters were alive and shown respect and they were the main characters, then yeah, you could destroy the Millennium Falcon, okay, because you're not trying to get rid of the originals, you're doing it part of the story. But this would just be like, let the past die. Like this would be Disney saying, let the past die, kill it if you have to. So I am not for that. They better not do that. I'm also like I don't think they're gonna kill Lando, honestly. Like, you know, obviously if you look at the track record, Han, Luke, Leia's unfortunately Carrie Fisher's passed in real life. But, you know, if you look at like Han and Luke, and now you bring back Lando, like whoever they bring back, because like, you know, Han was the 7th movie, dead. Luke was the 8th movie, dead, and now Lando's the 9th movie. So like, I mean, I don't think JJ's gonna kill him because he knows fans will freaking tear him apart for that. Han wanted to go, but like at the same time, JJ didn't really give him that good of an exit. Like he deserved better than that. Like Han got it so bad. That was a horrible death. Horrible. I hated that. I don't give a crap about Kylo Ren's freaking character development. I don't care about him. He has no character development. He's just like a whiny little teenager who how does he have control of the whole First Order? It's just like a disgrace, you know? Like the Darth Vader's name, you know, Vader was like the most powerful person, and now Kylo Ren has all these stormtroopers, and it's just so whiny. Like, no, I don't care about that. But I mean, what the people or the droids, I should say, who I'm actually really concerned about are R2 and C-3PO, especially C-3PO. I have a feeling if someone were to die, it would be C-3PO. I don't care if Poe or Finn die. Probably Poe would die. Yeah, I can see Poe dying, but I swear to God, if they kill C-3PO, because we know C-3PO has a big role in this movie. They said, finally, I mean, the man's been in every Star Wars movie, and like, he was barely in the sequel trilogy. They did, like, come on, like, you disrespected droids too. R2 and C-3PO had nothing to do in that sequel trilogy. But you know, now you have C-3PO on the mission, a big character, and I swear to God, if they build up his character to just sacrifice himself and die, don't do that. I would hate it, because once again, if they had shown, if C-3PO and R2 were in the whole sequel trilogy and they had an arc, then I would be okay with C-3PO dying. I would not want him to die because I love him. Like, he's the best around. Nothing's gonna ever bring him down. Sorry, Karate Kid reference. But, you know, there was no arc for him. So if they just like have him in this 9th movie and kill him. Same with Lando, you know, like Lando had no arc. So like, don't kill him. Don't kill him. There's no setup to these deaths. Like Han's just introduced and then dies. Luke is introduced and then dies. It's just, I'm mad. I'm just mad. I'm sorry. Okay. Now, the ninth theory, which could be true, is Kylo Ren redeems himself. Now, once again, this is self-explanatory too. Like, we don't have to read all the details, but come on. You guys really think he's not going to redeem himself? They literally, like, at first, that, like, okay, I always thought that he would get redeemed But then, people are like going on the side that like he might not get redeemed, and I'm like, oh yeah, I mean maybe, I guess, like that would be interesting. But then they just released a comic book where Snoke took Kylo to Dagobah, and like Kylo was like faced with like a vision of his parents, and he didn't kill them. He just like slashed a rock and pretended he killed them, and then he destroyed the Yoda cave first off. So by the way, guys, remember that cave where Yoda took Luke into, where Luke faced Vader? It's destroyed because of Disney Star Wars. Kylo Ren destroyed it. So they just destroy everything. What's next? You're gonna go to Tatooine and freaking destroy Luke's home? Oh well, Luke's home is already destroyed. Never mind. But are you gonna like go to Tatooine and just destroy everything? Are you gonna go to Coruscant, destroy everything? Like, come on. That's not cool. It's not cool. Are you gonna destroy that little hill where Luke looked out at the sunset? Come on. So it's obvious Kyle's gonna get redeemed. And there's no surprise because, especially of that comic book. So it's just, I don't know. There's no build up. Like, it's just like he gets redeemed. Like, and who cares? And obviously he's being redeemed because the Emperor is back. Like JJ always wanted to redeem Kylo. That was literally like his arc. Adam Driver, who plays Kylo, has said, like in his interviews, that he knows where his character is going to end up, or he had a basic understanding of where his character would end up. But that's because JJ told him from his outlines. JJ was never going to do episode 9, so Adam Driver could have never known, because JJ was not supposed to do episode 9. It was supposed to be Colin Trevorrow. But he's going to sacrifice himself or something. Or he's going to turn back to the good side, and they're going to fight the Emperor, and then he'll sacrifice himself. Why are you bringing back the Emperor? Do you have to ruin another character? Oh my god. Come on. I know Anakin Skywalker could come back as a Force Ghost and destroy him, but do you really think Anakin's going to come back and have that pivotal of a role? I think Anakin will. I think it's like 99% sure. I'm 99% sure Hayden Christensen's gonna return. There was supposed to be a convention where Hayden and Ian McDiarmid, who plays the Emperor, were supposed to do a convention together, and Disney last second canceled it because they were afraid of spoilers. So obviously he's in the movie. It's no surprise. He's been going into these Star Wars celebrations, and I'm happy about that. That was the one thing I've said. If he's not in the movie, it's completely doomed. If Hayden Christensen, Anakin Skywalker, is not in this movie, it's doomed, because this is Anakin's story. But even though he is in it, I still don't think they're gonna Anakin is the chosen one. Don't give me any of this Rey's the chosen one nonsense, because she's not. It's Anakin. I swear to God, if you retcon all this crap, I will be so freaking mad. And I can't see Anakin getting more than 5 minutes of screen time. I feel like they're just gonna reveal him at the end. Oh my god, it's Anakin Skywalker. Lando's not even gonna show up until half the movie. If you really think Lando's gonna be a big part of the movie, then no, he's not. So it's just frustrating because it's very predictable. It's just setting up the same ending. Sure, there'll be some different stuff. Sure, it'll be oh my god, Kylo Ren's sacrificing himself. Whoa, but at the same time, it's Kylo Ren's gonna sacrifice himself. Obviously, no surprise. All right, so number 8. We hope not that the Knights of Ren are irrelevant. So, a theory about the Knights of Ren, we don't want them to be irrelevant, and I completely agree. Sorry, I know I keep doing that, but it's just really frustrating. They set up the Knights of Ren in episode 7. Even you, Snoke says, even you, Master of the Knights of Ren. Now, all of us are whoa, the Knights of Ren? Are these the students that, the Knights of Ren, are these the students that Kylo turned to the dark side, Luke's old students. But guess what? They don't tell us in The Last Jedi because the Knights of Ren aren't even mentioned. Now we have JJ who's bringing them back. There's so much to do in this movie, and there's not gonna be any respect for the original characters. Like, we're gonna get like one scene about Han. That's it. I feel like that scene where Leia and Rey are hugging. I feel like they're gonna be talking about Han. But like, come on, like that's just one scene. Like, he's dead. Like there's not gonna be that much respect for him. Luke, I don't know. Like, he's dead. Come on, like, what's he gonna do? Just guide Rey, use the Force, train a new generation of Jedi. But like, we already saw this story, and if Rey's training a new generation of Jedi or whatever, like, we're basically gonna finish this movie and think like, oh, 30 years later, she's just gonna end up on an island and want everyone to die. Because we already... It's like deja vu. We've seen this already. I forgot the point now. Oh yeah, Knights of Ren. So yeah, I mean, the Knights of Ren could have really could have complicated the story. You know, now you have Snoke, Kylo, and the Knights of Ren in Episode 8. You know, but you don't now. And what I'm so mad about, the Knights of Ren don't even have lightsabers. They have these like weird like freaking staff weapons and like knives. I don't know. It's like weird weapons. Like, why don't you have lightsabers? Like, you know, now you're just gonna have Rey and Kylo fight one-on-one, which, first off, we've seen that fight before. And second off, it's basically the original trilogy all over again. One person versus another person. Like at least the prequels, you know, there were all these people. I'm not going to say at least, because that would make it seem like I don't like the prequels, but I love the prequels, and I will make a video because I completely love the prequels. 1,000,000%. I grew up with them. You could say whoever could say all they want about the prequels, I love them. But, you know, there's, like, with the prequels, you know, it set up, like, it showed us, like, a bunch of Jedi fighting together. But, like, I feel like this sequel trilogy could have really taken that into a big direction. And we could have really seen a bunch of Jedi fighting against each other and a bunch of Sith or whoever, dark side users. Like, imagine seeing, like, a couple red lightsabers fighting together, live action, like, in a movie. That would be awesome, but it's not happening. So, like, I can't believe the Knights of Ren don't have lightsabers. It's, like, you know, like, come on, like, I'm a kid. I want to see the entertainment, and like, there's no like entertainment. I want to see lightsabers. Disney wants to get away from that. They don't care. They don't care about the lightsabers. All of the lightsaber fights in the sequel trilogy have been freaking horrible. Like, I'm sorry, but they have. The Force Awakens was not even a lightsaber fight. It was nothing like we know. It was not the original trilogy fighting style, and it wasn't the prequel fighting style. It was just Rey would hit Kylo's lightsaber and then run away, and then Kylo would hit, and Kylo was like this, like, like taking so long to swing his lightsaber. Like, dude, why do you have a lightsaber like that? Why do you have a like heavy ass lightsaber? Like, freaking like all these lightsabers in the prequels are so light. Like, why is yours so heavy? Why is Rey's so heavy? Like, why, you know, and now you and what's funny is in episode 9 D23 sneak peek, we saw Rey and Kylo fighting on the Death Star, and both of them are swinging fast, like their weapons are like lighter. Why ain't Kylo swing like that in The Force Awakens? I know he was injured, but at the same time he's like it was just so unrealistic. In the Last Jedi fight, it wasn't even lightsabers against lightsabers. It was a cool fight. I know there were a bunch of mistakes. I've watched the videos, but it was still a cool fight. But at the same time, come on, like, how do you not give us a lightsaber fight? Like, what? So that just makes me really mad. Okay, so let's move on. Number 7, the theory that could be true. The gang explores underwater ruins. Now, this was obviously the plan for Force Awakens. This was, if you guys don't know, this was the original concept where they go underwater to see the Death Star or whatever. There's something in the Death Star, and they're obviously going to go back to that because they have nothing else. Episodes 7 and 8 don't matter. Episode 9 is its own movie. There's no plot right now. There's no plot. No plot whatsoever. They could do whatever the heck they want. So that's why they're bringing the Emperor back. That's why they're doing the Death Star. Because they could do whatever they want. They could bring Jar Jar Binks as a Sith Lord. That'd be awesome, by the way. So I definitely support that. I love Jar Jar. Once again, I love the prequels. I love Jar Jar. I've actually been writing scripts to Jar Jar series. I know you guys are gonna make fun of me, but it's true. Like, and I think it actually could have like it could be like a really complex story. So let me know if you're interested in seeing that. And I'll definitely get working on that. But yeah, so how do I feel about going underwater to the Death Star? It's cool. It's cool. I'll admit, I think that's pretty cool because it's something new, but like old. You know, like that'd be pretty cool to go underwater and see the Death Star. But at the same time, it's the final movie. You should have done that in episode 7 like you originally intended. But instead, you decided to tell the same story over. Because this way, if you did this would have been a different story. Hopefully. But you decided to play it safe. And when you could have done this, which I think a lot of fans would have liked. And obviously, going underwater to the Death Star is not the whole story. There's obviously going to be more to it. But I think that had like some potential. I think that would have been really cool, actually. So I would have been all in favor of that. Number 6. Theory. We hope not. Rey and Kylo Ren become an item. Oh my god. Like, okay, look. I hear all those fans on like Instagram and YouTube say Reylo, Reylo, Reylo. And I'm just like, whatever, you know, because you're obviously going to have people who do that. But then like, there was like a Star Wars post on the official Star Wars Instagram, and like someone commented like, "Oh my god, OMG, they better kiss," and that really started to get to me because that was on the Star Wars website. Now, obviously, I'm not gonna attack this person because they have their opinion, but I just like did not agree with them at all, and I kind of hated what they said because it's like, come on, like. This trilogy is so bad. Don't have them kiss. Like, who's the villain? We need a villain. Like, don't... There's been no romantic tension set up between them. It's all been awkward and weird and rushed. They've only known each other for 3 days. Freaking Ben Solo killed Han Solo. And you want Rey and Kylo to get together? Like, if you want Rey and Kylo to become an item, you are not a Star Wars fan. And I'm being dead honest because Kylo killed Han Solo. If you like Star Wars, you like Han Solo. So why would you want to see the person who killed Han Solo find happiness? I don't want him to have happiness. He killed my favorite character. Han Solo was my favorite character. I love Harrison Ford. And Luke Skywalker I think is like second. But Han Solo is always number 1. So... don't give me any of this Reylo nonsense. It's a horrible idea. It will be very horrible if they do it, and I don't think they will do it because Daisy Ridley has not really been all over the idea, so I don't think they're gonna do it. And I appreciate them for not doing that. Excuse me, because that would be horrible. It would really be horrible. Number 5. Could be true. Anakin's Ghost appears. Now we went over this a little actually, but yeah, I think he's gonna return. Yeah, we went over this, but yeah, he's gonna return. I don't think he's gonna have that big of a part. I think he's just gonna kind of guide, or not guide, but he's just gonna say, Rey, you could do it. You could beat the Emperor, or like even if he does defeat the Emperor himself, I don't know. It's just not. It just doesn't seem right. Because we already been through this. We've been through this. We're going to watch Return of the Jedi and never see it in the same light. Never. if the Emperor came back in episode 7, then maybe it would be okay. Because there's a story. You could tell a story, but there's no story. You're bringing the Emperor back. You're obviously going to kill him again. Friggin' John Boyega, who plays Finn, confirmed in an interview. Well, he didn't confirm, but this is what he said. He was like, like, with the Emperor coming back, it's only fair, like, we take him down properly or something. Like, take him down properly? What makes you important enough to take down Emperor Palpatine? Palpatine is the biggest baddie in Star Wars, and the Chosen One defeated him because he's the Chosen One. Why should this new generation of people that nobody cares about, that has no connection to the Skywalker saga, no connection to Luke, no connection to Palpatine, no connection to anyone, why should they take down Palpatine? And please, don't give me any of this Rey's a Palpatine nonsense. Now, even though I think Rey is a Palpatine and I think that'll happen, like, it was not set up. Ever. That was never the plan. It was never the plan. They're just making that up to excuse her ability, her lack of training. They're saying, oh, she's a Palpatine. She doesn't have to train. Like you actually connect to the characters who you relate to. You don't relate to Rey because Rey can do everything. Can you do everything? No. Can I do everything? No. Rey can do everything. Why should we care about her? I don't know. Number 4, a theory that we hope is not true. Lando has a daughter. Now, I have to agree with this one. I do hope it's not true because there's just so many. By the way, the daughter that they're talking about is the new character Jannah, played by Naomi Aki, I believe. Now, I hope this is not true because there's so many characters that they have to develop. There's so many plot lines they have to address. There's so much in the story that, like, don't introduce something else. Like, and you're already giving us, like, these new characters, Kerry Russell and General Pride. And when you really have to tell a story, tie all 9 films together, you have to show the original characters respect, and you have to have action scenes, like, and you have to introduce the Emperor's whole backstory and tell us who Snoke was and who Rey's parents are. But then you have to kill the Emperor in a proper way, so it's not just like, oh, you brought him back to kill him, even though that's what you're doing. So there's so much to do that I don't think Lando should have a daughter, because that would just take away from what's really important, which is, I mean, it's kind of too late, because you already didn't address anything. And now, one thing that really pisses me off is when, first off, I have nothing against J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson and Kathleen Kennedy. I think they are all wonderful people. It's just the movies. It's just the movies. It's just movies. But one thing that does piss me off is in an interview, J.J. Abrams said that their struggle with this film was that they had to tie all 9 films in this one film. That's what he said in the interview. He was like, this film has a particularly hard challenge because you have to tie all these 9 films while at the same time telling its own story. Now, it's not J.J. Abrams' fault because he didn't decide who he wasn't directing all the movies. If he was directing all the movies, then it would have been his fault. But the whole sequel trilogy should have been tying together the original 6 movies, because now you're at the final movie and there's been no connection. So now you have to tie all 9 films. When really you could have started tying the films in 7 and 8, so 9 wouldn't just be this like nostalgic overload. You could like actually tell the story, but then tie it all together, starting from the beginning to the end, and then maybe at the end, that's when it really starts to tie together. But like, you don't just start tying everything together in the final movie. That's not smart. especially if it's a 9-movie saga. So, yeah, Lando's daughter, I do not think that should happen. Because Lando himself is not going to get enough screen time. We all know that. He's probably just going to tell our heroes where to go next. He's going to fly the Millennium Falcon, and that's it. How do you introduce Lando in the final Star Wars movie? Come on. Everyone's dead, so they just don't care. Alright. A theory that could be true. The Jedi Order is reformed. We went over this. We already saw this. I don't have any interest in seeing the same thing over again. Even if it's not Jedi, even if it's just Force users using the light and the dark side, it's the same thing. But it's obviously going to happen because they have nowhere else to go. I don't want to see that again, but that's what's going to happen. Luke was supposed to bring back the Jedi. That never happened. Now you have Rey who's going to bring back the Jedi. And now, 30 years later, from this story, she's just going to be a hermit on the old island. That's what they're telling us, basically, with this sequel trilogy, that no matter how it ends, things will just go back to the way it was, you know? If the original trilogy to the sequel trilogy, there's no change. If there was a victory, but then it went back to the way it was, why should we believe that this victory is the final victory? Why shouldn't we believe that the Emperor could come back again? Maybe they're doing that on purpose so they could just keep telling Star Wars movies. They say it's the final Star Wars movie, but, you know, I could see they'll probably do like episode 10 or something. I don't know. We hope not. That Rey's lineage matters. I don't really care about Rey's lineage, honestly. I've always said, I don't think she has to be a Skywalker. I actually thought it would be interesting if she wasn't a Skywalker. But at the same time, she had to have a connection with them. Like, she needed to be trained by Luke or Leia in order to feel a part of the story, even if she's not a Skywalker. But she wasn't. You know what I mean? I always compare it to Cobra Kai, a show that I watch. You had Johnny, one of the main characters, one of the original characters from The Karate Kid, who's now an adult, training Miguel, a younger student. Now, Miguel's not his son. You know, if Miguel was his son, we would almost immediately have a connection to Miguel because he's Johnny's son. But because Miguel isn't Johnny's son, we connect to Miguel through Johnny. We see Johnny and Miguel connecting, and that makes us connect to Miguel. But there's no connection between Rey and the original characters. Leia, she barely talks to, and it seems like they're best friends, even though they barely talk to each other. Han, there was like a little something there, but then, I don't know, it wasn't that much. And then Luke, there was nothing there. So that's why I don't like her character. That's why I don't care about her parents and her lineage, because she doesn't feel a part of the story. Even if she wasn't a Skywalker, they could have handled it in a different way. But, I don't know. She's probably going to end up being a Palpatine, or a clone of Palpatine, because of that mirror scene in The Last Jedi. I know, obviously, Rian Johnson did not do that for that reason, because we know that Rian Johnson did not talk to JJ. JJ probably watched The Last Jedi and was like, oh, what can I use? Oh, she's looking at herself in the mirror. That can make her a clone. Oh, that's cool. Like, Rian Johnson, I'll just use that and make it pretend like that was the plan all along, even though it wasn't. So, yeah. Now, number 1, the final theory that could be true. Now, this one I really don't, like, you know, this whole article was pretty good up until this part. Rey killed her parents. No, I'm not even gonna read that because that's just not a good theory. I believe that Rey's a Palpatine. I don't know who the people were that dropped her off on that planet. Maybe it was like people who dropped off the clones, and maybe different clones got dropped off. And I believe Darkseid Rey is either a clone or a vision. It's obviously one or the other. It's obviously a clone or vision. It's not actually her. So, maybe like they'll go into this whole direction of clones and stuff. I think that's very bad. I would hate that because it doesn't seem like it was part of the story the whole time. And how are you supposed to connect with clone? I don't know. Actually, I take that back because you connected with the clones from the Clone Wars, but at the same time, like, we knew they were clones. You know, we don't know that Rey's a clone, and you're just gonna say Rey's a clone. That's why she's so powerful. Like, it's lazy, and it's not. It's inexcusable. So yeah. Overall consensus, I'm excited for this film because it's Star Wars. I'm not invested in any of the characters in the story. This is my first time seeing Palpatine on the big screen because I was not alive. Well, I was alive, but I wasn't. I was born in 2002, so I think the Revenge of the Sith came out in 2004 or something. So or 5. So like I was like 3 or something. I didn't watch it. Obviously, I was too young. But this is my first time. Excuse me. Seeing Palpatine. This is gonna be my first time seeing Palpatine on the big screen, if he even is, because we still haven't seen him in person in a trailer or something. What he's gonna look like in the movie. He could just be a spirit for all we know. We could just be hearing his voice. I don't think so because we saw his picture on the poster. But after all, it was proved that was the picture of him on that poster was a Hot Toys poster. It wasn't even him, and it did not look like him. Even the voice from the trailer didn't sound like him. It's just weird and messed up. But yeah, it's a Star Wars movie, so I want to see it. As for, I think it's gonna be the best of the sequel trilogy because the other two ones didn't set the bar very high, so I think this will be the best. But at the same time, I'm gonna go into this movie. I'm gonna try and enjoy it. I'm gonna really try and enjoy it. But after the movie's finished, I'm gonna ask myself one thing. Well, obviously, I'm gonna ask myself multiple things, but the main thing that I'm gonna ask myself is, was this story necessary? Is the ending so catastrophic that we needed this story? Because so far, if you took out these 2 sequel trilogy movies, we're fine with the original 6. Did these 3 movies need to be made? Well, obviously they were just made for money, but like, you know, in terms of a story, which obviously there is none, but at the same time, at episode 9, I want them to give us a reason for making this trilogy, even though it was for money. I just make up a reason or something. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I will put the link to the that article in the description from Scream Rant. It was a very good article, actually. It was really good. And if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. Leave a like, comment, share the video. Excuse me. I need some more water. Turn on your notifications to never miss a video of Drew Reviews. And we will keep talking about Star Wars and other stuff. And yeah. So thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time.